Hi everyone, welcome back to the TackleShare YouTube channel. It's Alicia here with the TackleShare program, and I was just out ice fishing with my kids for the morning, and we caught a handful of perch. So we headed back to the house so we can do a how to fillet perch video for you. All right, so a few of the things that I like to start off with is obviously a nice cutting board to protect any surfaces you're working from. These textured surfaces are great because it also helps to grip the fish a little bit because they have that slime on them, and it helps grip it a little bit better. Obviously have my fillet knife, some paper towel or rag or something like that to wipe your hands as needed, a bowl of water to kind of wash the fish off a little bit, as well as a bowl that I put the fillets in when I'm done. And I like to have like either a garbage bag or a bucket that I'm going to be tossing the remaining part of the fish in. So those are the things that you're going to need to get yourself set up. So very similar to another video that we've done before, you're going to make a horizontal cut. So this is the pectoral fin of the fish. You're going to make a horizontal cut in the upwards direction. So this way, just behind the gill plate there. You're going to do that on this side here. And the fish are slippery, so of course you're going to want to try and dig in if you can. And if you're unsure of yourself, you can also maybe get one of those filleting gloves, which is like a cut resistant glove. There's a video here I'm going to put in the card up here if you want to learn more about that. But anyway, so here's, you're going to be making a cut this way. And when you cut in, you're going to cut until you feel the spine. And you don't want to cut any further. Just stop when you tap that spine. You can hear me tapping it right now. I'm going to flip the fish over and do the exact same thing on the other side. It's like there, and just cut there. All right, now what I'm going to do is cut along, you can see here, you're going to cut along the dorsal fin right here, along the side right there, and the same on the other side. Just going to cut back to about where the ribs are. You know the rib cage ends right about here. You can see where it's springy, and then we get to some soft meat. So that's right about where the rib cage will be. So I'm going to score with the knife along the dorsal fin, trying to get as tight as I can. And then once I've done that, I'm going to poke through, the way through here. And then now you're going to just slide it along the spine. So use the spine as a guide, and that is what's going to tell you how far down to go. There we go. All right, so now what we've done is I'm now able to peel this meat back on this fish, and I'm going to run along the rib cage here. So I've filleted that off there, and I'm going to run along the rib cage here, and it releases very nicely. I find perch are tedious normally because we usually catch smaller fish, and that is fine. Like that's absolutely fine. And you can just run your knife along the rib cage, and it peels back and helps you. And you can feel the ribs there, and just keep coming down here. Just like that, and then we can cut it off right there like that. Oops. And there's the fillet off of our first perch. So this is a smaller one. I did a practice round, but some of them will get a little bit bigger. And there's nothing wrong with catching and keeping some small fish. It just means a little bit more work for yourself. Sometimes if you think the fish is too small, you can actually get quite a bit of meat off of them. So there's that one there. Now you'll notice something different that I haven't seen in one of my previous videos. This one actually has some roe in it, and it has a roe sack. I did puncture that when I was cutting through. Now some people can, and I've seen it, and I've done it before, where you can pull out that roe sack and you can actually fry it up yourself. Batter it and fry it. I don't do that all the time, and I'm not going to be doing that today, but that is something that you absolutely can do. All right, so flip it back over. So I already had made that horizontal cut behind the gill plate. Now I'm going to run my knife along the dorsal fin again, and I can hear it. You may not hear it in the video, but you can hear as the knife is gliding along those bones, so I know that I've got it nice and close there. And then once you've passed the rib cage, you're going to push that knife through, all the way through, and then run along the spine, and I kind of cut through the roe bag on that one. Just like that. Same thing, you're going to separate it and run that knife along the spine until you start to get to the rib cage and start peeling over. Just like this. And now, not every fish you're going to do is going to be perfect. That one was kind of hard. I do find that the left side of the fish tends to be better when I do the right side of the fish, just because of my right-handedness. My personal preference is I like to clean up if there's any like digestive gunk on the cutting board. I don't like to have that on my meat, but we're going to be washing them off anyway. So there's a couple fillets there, and I'm going to do another one. Now you may find that as you progress through filleting your fish that you're starting to make a few more mistakes and you're pushing hard but it's not cutting the way you want it to. That's obviously because you've probably dulled your knife. Or if you're like me, you put your knife away dull, which is not smart. You should always put your knife away ready to go for when you need it. But I just take my straight edge sharpener here and do a couple scores on it. I like to do it on a surface so it's nice and strong. And that's going to give it much better edge. And I'm just going to wipe it a bit just in case there's filings. I don't like having filings. There we go, brand new knife. Possibly this fish will be a little bit cleaner when I go to cut it. So, like I said before, so you're gonna hold on to that fish, cut down, much better. Hit the spine there, that's my problem. My knife was dull. All right, so now we have all of our fillets with the skin on currently. And if you're going to be storing them for any length of time, either in your fridge or in the freezer, you need to leave that skin on so that the fish can easily be identified for species and counted for your possession limit. So if you've just come off the ice, you filleted up your fish, you're not really ready to cook them, by all means just throw them in a bag in the freezer. Labeling them is really handy, but you should be able to identify what the fish are by the patterning on them, and especially if ever comes up to question, that information can be displayed properly. But I'm going to be cooking mine up right away. We're going to be having dinner here in 2 hours, so I'm just going to take the skin right off. So what I'm going to do is use the tips of my nails to stick into the skin here and my fillet knife. Now, if you filleted a whole bunch of fish, now is your best time to actually go ahead, clean up that knife and give it a good run through your sharpener, because you can tear the skin fairly easily if your knife isn't sharp. So make sure you have a sharp knife right before you go to fillet, take the meat off. So I try to save as much meat as possible, so I like to go right to the end there, and you can see how I've just lifted the meat from the skin, and with a downwards pressure, that nice flexible knife is really going to help you out, and push towards with a little bit of a sawing motion, and you can get that meat to lift right up off the skin like that. There's the skin all gone, throwing that in the bag, and there's my fillet with no bones in it, ready to throw into a pan of oil for frying. I'm going to do that for the rest of these fillets as well. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to quickly fillet up some perch for a very quick fish fry. If you check out our next video, we're going to show you a quick recipe on perch tacos. So, all right, if you haven't already done so, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click that notification bell so you know when new content is posted. All right, see you next time.